All right, so we are going to finish up the chapter. We're going to learn one different way of how a parabola will be given to you. It's really not too hard to deal with, but we're going to review over a couple of concepts. Next time we would have class, we're going to have the test on this. Anything that's on here is a really good review towards what that is. Okay? So first one. This was the first ones we started. Agreed? And we labeled it A, B, and C. Correct? Now, hey friends, we're going to talk about this C value for a moment. Okay? When this is all worked out in this fashion, that C value is where it crosses the Y-intercept. So the Y-intercept is 0, -3. Okay? Now, that's not the vertex. All it is another point. Now, think about this. If I wanted the Y-intercept, this is always a 0 for a Y-intercept. So if you wanted to find the Y-intercept and it wasn't set up this way, you can plug 0 in for x, and whatever you get is the Y-intercept. So 0, something would be how you get the Y-intercept. Okay? So that's kind of first thing to think about. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and do the things that we know. We know that the axis of symmetry that we call AOS is x equals -b over 2a, which is -4 over 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, so -4 over -4 is -1. So -1 is here. Agree? Yeah. Yeah. There's lead in it, or some sort of darker gray tone color of marking. You're welcome. All right, so if I know the axis of symmetry, that means I know the vertex, or part of it. I get -1, something. What do I do with that -1 in order to get the y value? Plug it in for x. Plug it in here and here. So I'm going to get 2 times -1 squared plus 4 times -1 minus 3. Order of operation says, hey, do this first. -1 times -1 is +1. 4 times -1. So I'm going to get 2 minus 4 minus 3. 2 minus 4 is -2. 2 minus 3, -2 minus 3 is -5. So I get -1, -5. Hey, friends, what's my pattern graph do? Up, okay. And is it 1, 3, 5 or is it 2, 6, 10? And why? Why is it 2, 6, 10? Yeah, very good. You multiply your 1, 3, 5 by your A value. Now watch this. See where the Y-intercept is? Right one, up one. It worked. It fell right here. Now it's not always going to do that, but notice we did find the Y value and our pattern graph found the same point, which is fine. Left one up 2. Right one up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Left one up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there it is. So I see clearly my points established. Yes, I could label the points, but we don't have to worry about it. Those were bonuses for you originally. Now it's just make sure I can see your points. Now, a few things about this. Does it cross the x-axis here and here? Now, my friends, do we know just by looking at the graph that we drew this kind of crooked, kind of straight line, do we know the exact value of where it's crossing the x-axis? Yes or no? So you can guarantee that that's crossing at 0.625 comma 0 and negative 2.73 comma 0. Because I don't know about you, but I can't decipher two-digit decimals on a graph. These are roots. These are roots, but I can't always tell. I can't always tell the exact root. My pattern graph, if it's done correctly, if it does fall exactly on the x-axis, that gives you the exact root. But I don't know what the exact root is here. I know it exists, but I don't know the exact value. I know it's something comma 0, but I don't know the exact x value. Does that make sense when I say that? Now, there are ways that we could try and get it, but we haven't learned those methods yet. But right now, my pattern graph did not give us the exact values. It didn't lie right on the x-axis. So that's what we have. Can I move forward? We're good? All right, next question. I know my A value is -1. My B value is 4. My C value is 5. When it's set up in this way, do I know where it crosses the y-axis? What do you think? Do I know where it crosses the y-axis? Let's go back to the last one. Do I know where that crosses the y-axis because of this? I do. So do I know where it crosses the y-axis here? Yeah, it crosses the y-axis at 0, 5. And again, my friends, that's just one extra point. Okay, my pattern graph might show that value, but it might not. It doesn't have to. Does that make sense? Me saying something like that? So the C value, we had started ignoring it, but then now we've introduced it as, hey, when it's set up this way, when we're not in all these parentheses, we can get a Y value pretty easily. All right, let's find our axis of symmetry. We'll call it AOS, which is x equals negative b over 2a. So I get -4 over 2 times -1. So x equals -4 over -2. -4 over -2, I think, is +2. Agree? That goes in here. Agree? Okay, I already know part of the vertex. I know the x component of the vertex. Agree? How do I find the y value of it? Plug it into x. Now, note, I have a negative out in front of x squared. Agreed? No matter what I plug in, the answer to that x squared part, because there's a negative in front, is going to be negative. So I get -2 squared plus 4 times 2 plus 5. This right here, my friends, -2 squared is going to be -4. The reason it's not +4 is I'm squaring the x. I plugged in an x value. Because there was the negative sign out front, that means that we have to have the opposite of that. And then I have +8 plus 5. That's going to give me what? 4 plus 5. 4 plus 5 in this case is going to give me 9. So I get 2 comma 9. So 2 comma 9 is up here. Okay, how's my pattern graph going to work? My pattern graph is 1, 3, 5. But what do we know about this 1, 3, 5?
Negative.
It's negative. It's moving down. So I get -1, -3, -5. So from here, I'm going to go right 1, down 1, left 1, down 1, right 1, down 3. Hey, look at this. That happened to find that. Right 1, down 3. And let's do one more. My next value would be down 5, yes? Right 1, down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Left 1, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These, because I know those exact value, that is a root, and that is a root. Here's my parabola, but sometimes my pattern graph will indeed Find me the root. This is the root 5 comma 0. This is the root negative 1 comma 0. Okay, do you see how my pattern graph established a root? On the last problem, my pattern graph went right past the x-axis, so we knew kind of where it was, but not exactly. But in this case, I know the exact root because my pattern graph established it for me. Does that make sense, my friends? Okay, so these ones were when we had it all just worked out. We did not have anything grouped together. Agree? May I move forward to the next problem? This next problem is in factored form. Okay, so what does this negative do? What does that negative do? It's going to go down. Good. Okay, this is going to give me x plus 3 equals 0. So subtract 3 from both sides. So I get negative 3 comma 0. This is going to give me x minus 1 equals 0. Add 1 to both sides. So I get 1. So I get 1 comma 0. What are these? Are crossing the x-axis. What have I been just calling out in the last two problems? Roots. That's a root. And that's a root. So I get negative 3, 0, and I get 1, 0. So I have roots that I established. Agree? Now, we know halfway in between these. What number appears to be halfway between these? Let me see. Come in 1, come in 1, come in 1, come in. Oh, what's this? The axis of symmetry. So my axis of symmetry is x equals negative 1. My vertex is going to be negative 1 comma something. How do I find the something? How do I find the y value? Yeah. I do. I plug it in here and here. Remember, I have that. So I get negative, then I get negative 1 plus 3, negative 1 minus 1. I think I could do this math because I didn't have a calculator. Negative 1 plus 3 is 2. And then negative 2. So negative times 2 is negative 2. Negative 2 times 2 is? 2. Negative 2 times 2 is? Negative 2 times negative 2 is? 4. Negative 1 comma 4. There's a value out here. It's a 1. So my pattern graph is negative 1, negative 3, negative 5. Agree? Right one down 1. Left one down 1. Right one down 3. Left one down 3. It totally fell on there. So when it's factored, it finds us the roots automatically. Ooh. Y-intercept. This right here is the y-intercept. But the y-intercept is 0 comma something. So if I plug 0 in here and here, is this the point 0.03? So that's the y-intercept. So sometimes the pattern graph will establish the y-intercept. You won't have two y-intercepts on these problems. Questions, my friends. So factored form finds us where the roots exist. If I want to find the y-intercept and it's factored, you go 0 comma something. You plug 0 in for x. If you know the axis of symmetry because it's halfway between your roots, you take your axis of symmetry, x value, and you plug it in and get it. Can I move forward? This is factored form. Agreed? So this is going to give me x plus 2 equals 0, x equals negative 2. So I get negative 2 comma 0. There's a 2. So that 2 is going to change the pattern graph to 2, 6, 10.
It looks like another parentheses.
I think it was an afterthought when I was making the notes, so I apologize. So I get 4 comma 0. What are these two values called? Roots. So I get 4 comma 0 and a root at negative 2 comma 0. Agree? Not too hard. Let's see, what's halfway between? If I come in one, I come in one, I come in another, I come in another, I come in another, I come in another. Ooh. Positive 1 is right in between them. So the axis of symmetry is x equals 1. Do I know the x component of the vertex now? I hope it's 1. And I'm going to take that 1 and plug it in here and here. So I get 2 times 1 plus 2, 1 minus 4. 1 plus 2 this week is 3. 1 minus 4 this week is negative 3. Uh-oh. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times negative 3 is negative 18. Oh, boy. Guess what Stirrup did? Made one that's kind of... So every now and then that might happen. Because, you know, the axis symmetry keeps coming, right? If this were to happen on the test, and I don't think it will, and I apologize because I made one that didn't fit, I won't say you have to worry about pattern graph. If you did pattern graph, it would be 2, 6, 10, because that 2 out front, oops, 10. Now, we can find the y-intercept. Remember I said you plug 0 in for x. So in our original equation, we're going to go 0 plus 2, 0 minus 4, 2 times 2 minus 4. 2 times 2 is 4 times, that's negative 16. Oy, oy, oy. So I get 0, negative 16, which again, that's really like nasty and ugly. So that would be 0, negative 16. But again, the ones on the test will make it work. We found the y-intercept though. So if you can't find the y-intercept right away because there's not a c value, plug 0 in for x and it'll get you the y-intercept. Okay? I think there's one problem left. Is that right? 2? 2 left?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I move on?
Yeah.
We ready? Feel good? So I get this one and this one. Oh, these are two different things. So this is called vertex form. So vertex form is a new form. So vertex form says it's going to find the vertex. So you look whatever this is and you do the opposite value. You look whatever this is and you keep the same value. So I get 2, negative 5, which is down here. Okay? So let me pause there. This is kind of new. When it's grouped together, where we don't have two sets of parentheses, we have one quantity, quantity squared. This is called vertex form. So I get 2, negative 5. All right. This is going to allow me to pattern graph. My pattern graph is 3 times 135, which is going to give me 3, 9, 15. Ready? Right one up 3. Left one up 3. Ooh. Let's do one more. Let's go up 9. Let's go right one up 9. Let's go left one up 9. What is this value right here? That's my y-intercept. Very good. My pattern graph established it for me. So 0, 7 is my y-intercept. My friends, did my pattern graph show that it crosses the x-axis? Yes. Do I know the exact values right here? No, I don't know exact roots on this one. So when it's put as vertex form, so it's a quantity squared, an x plus a number or an x minus number, and that quantity is squared. It is opposite. In order to get the vertex, This is opposite grouped. This is same, not grouped. Notice the 3 did not interfere with the vertex. The 3 changed the pattern graph, and that's it. Okay? One last problem. One last problem. You ready? Feel comfortable? It's also vertex form. So my vertex of this, what is the opposite of positive 2? Negative 2. And the same value as that, so it's going to be positive 5. So negative 2, positive 5 is up here. What will this negative do? It changes my what graph? So the pattern graph is negative 1, 3, 5, which is negative 1, negative 3, negative 5. So my parabola opens down, right one, down one, left one, down one, right one, down 3, left one, down 3. Hey, what is this? The Y-intercept. The Y-intercept is 0, 1. Did my pattern graph show that it's crossing the x-axis twice? Yes. Do I know these exact roots? No. Questions, my friends? So we started pattern graphing. We started looking at vertex form. So I think there is a blank page on the back. Agree? So let's do some notes. So we have you have this, you have this, and we have this. Okay? So this one, you know your A, you know your B, you know your C. You know that x equals negative b over 2a, and you know that your vertex is negative b over 2a. Plug in x. We also know the y-intercept on this one because it's 0, c. And then our pattern graph is a times 135. Agree? Yes. Plug in x. Yep. Plug in x to get y. How's that? A little better? So that's what we started with. Agreed? Those are definitely ones we started with. Okay. Next one. This finds us the roots. So you get negative h comma 0, negative k comma 0. We know that a times 135 is the pattern graph. We know that the vertex is between these values. And then plug in x for y. Right? We've talked about that. That's everything about that. And then the newest addition to our repertoire. opposite. So in this case, it's negative h. Same k finds us the vertex. Our A times 135 is the pattern graph. And anytime I want to find the y-axis, it's plug in 0, plug in 0, and then we get the y value. Okay, yes, the y-intercept can be 0, comma c. But if it's 0, comma c, that means I could plug in my 0 for x and get that out. Okay? So, few things for you. We are going to look at, let me find it. Okay. So, your homework for tonight, I'm skipping a few pages, so please note that. It's going to be graphing quadratic functions, number 9, which is page 73 and 74. So there's 12 questions. Now, I'm going to tell you this. In about an hour, I will do a video of all these worked out. That means this, my friends, there's not time next time we have class to go over those questions. The video is posted for you because we have a test next time. Yeah, Thursday for you guys, Friday for the other cohort. I have to say that because I'm recording just in case you watch it. Okay, does that make sense? So I will post a video on Schoology of those 12 problems worked out. Agree? Does that make sense? And I will label it. Watch this video. This is review. Okay? Does that make sense? You good? Perfect. I'm going to stop recording now. Is that okay? And then